Hello tacticians, it's Nox here, and today we're going to be going through Isabella's quest. But before we get stuck into those, a very quick thank you to Chastima, Natalie6 and Coin3IP for using my friend code. It is very much appreciated. However, I know what you're all here for, so let's have a look about how I did these missions. Here we are with Common 1, and this is fairly straightforward with Bellator and Certus. Normally in these common ones, we've had it in the past where we couldn't take any damage, but in these we are still allowed damage as long as obviously we're not damaged by the end of it. So make sure that you group up on Isabella and just attack anything that comes near. The enemy has still got its same intelligence where it will attack the summons first, but this just makes these sort of scenarios much easier. Here is Common 2, which doesn't allow us to use ranged characters, but as long as you have Bellator and two other characters who don't have ranged weapons, and here I'm using Ulf and Shark, you'll be in a good point. Now, if you don't have these two characters, Arjak will do. The two Black Templars are also a very good choice. Or Cut, he is a very good one to include here too. But make sure you got Bellator because they will swarm around his summons, as you'll see them doing here, which will leave you free to attack as you wish. Now here I do use the grappling hook to move, or to try and move the swarm to a close position. It didn't work, but even though Shark takes damage, I can actually move Isabella up, heal him up, and complete this mission. Common 3 sees us not being able to use any Overwatch characters, which is a massive shame, to be honest. Here we're using Brother Burchard and Bellator to be the tanks at the front to try and soak up some of the damage. Thaddeus is there to help take care of the swarms, and, well, if you have Yarrick, he's great to bring in anyway because of his summons. Isabella is obviously the one that you need to take in, and she is going to be running around trying to heal everyone as and when they need it. So you can see they will swarm around our front two characters here, but they do go back and actually target our squishier characters of Thaddeus and Yarrick. And here I summon the extra troops to try and take the pressure off my normal guys. Now, I should have probably grouped Yarrick and Thaddeus up to let Isabella be able to heal them in one go. And as you saw, I used Burchard's active ability there to kill off the Tyranid Prime. But first, I heal up Thaddeus. And as you can see, they still prefer to attack the summons, but they will attack your guys if they are the closest. Now bear in mind, my other characters have been taking damage, so I am actually saving that AoE heal from Isabella for the very last turn. And by moving Bellator next to his buddy, when he fires, his friend will also fire at the same time, which will ensure that all the damage I can do is done. And there's me healing everyone, and it does bring back an additional summon, which doesn't do anything here. Uncommon 1 sees us not being able to use anyone who can fly and no Black Templar. Now, two great characters to use here are indeed Arjak and Sarkwheel, who are both very new, so hopefully you have them and have them geared up. If you don't, as long as the characters have high manoeuvrability, like Shark, or have a long range with their attacks, such as Sarkwheel, who we are using, then you should be in a good position. So you move one of them here, hide Isabella behind, and just move up and tell the Tyranids to have their turn. So as you can see, they're all attacking Arjak here, and Isabella's more than happy to let them do that and keep him healed up. Then all we need to do is basically attack the ones that are left. Heal up Arjak when you know you're about to complete the mission. And then give him one more heal just to make sure. He doesn't need it. And yes, this is one that I forgot to record the first time, so I had to do it again. Uncommon 2 basically means we can't use the Astra Militarum, so no easy access to summon additional troops to cover your bottom. Here we are still using Bellator, and we're grouping up around with Isabella in the middle so that any attacks do automatically heal up our troops. As you can see, the AI tends to target their summons before anything else. But we need to make sure that Varro there is healed up, and we move our Bellator out of the way and kill that one, and with Vindicta we of course try and kill as many as possible. First I use Varro's active to whittle them all down, and then I use Vindicta to actually kill them all in one go. Last one moves in, hits Vindicta, but I'm quite lucky that my summon doesn't actually kill it off in one go, because I think I do actually need to heal up Vindicta here before I end the game. Uncommon 3 means we can't summon in any support units if we want to get maximum score. Sybil is great here, as her active will, as you see, kill one of the tyrants first time. Ulf as high damage is another great option to use, and I've included Thaddeus for his long range and high damage as well, and I keep him well out of the way of anything that could cause damage. I do keep Burchard there, admittedly he did no damage on that attack, but it was more to get in the way of the Tyranid Prime so it couldn't attack Thaddeus. Now don't forget that you can still attack with Isabella should you need to, and here you'll see me use the Burchard's active ability to kill off the Tyranid Prime. So all that I really need to do is heal up Ulf here, and the job should be done. There I was, just making sure everyone was on full health before the final blow. Rare 1 means we cannot take any damage, so as weird as this sounds, you want to keep Isabella away from your other troops. And Creed is a great option to include here, because not only does he summon, but he has got his own protection, so if anyone does hit him, they'll actually hit his aid instead. Now you can see that is where this happens. And the Tyranids nicely line up on a line on the bridge, where Vindicta will say thank you very much, have some fire. Now, just because we can't heal anyone doesn't mean we can't resurrect them. Now, if you don't have Creed here, another good one, if you are lucky enough to have them, is obviously Celestine. Without Celestine, you're probably going to start having a hard time. Bellator would be a good option because they will go after the summons first. But after that, yeah, your choices are starting to look slim. Of course, Yarrick is also a good option to put in. Rare 2 sees the return of not being able to use any range attack. So if you do have Creed, he is a great option here. I focus on the bottom to try and get rid of any of the creatures down here first, so then I can turn my attention to the top. So even though I'm using Bellator on that one, his accomplice will actually target the one who isn't next to Bellator. And Isabella here takes the final shot. Rare 3 sees the fact that we can't use any psychic and no piercing, so I've put together the dynamic duo of Burchard and Bellator. The reason being, we have got a lot of Tyranids here to take care of, and they both have ways of bringing in a lot of pain with Burchard's active ability, doing a lot of damage to many targets, and of course Bellator here summoning in 2 of his mates to help him along. So Burchard goes in the middle and lets loose with his grenade rack, killing off a good number. And Isabella wants to join in the fun. So I move Isabella to safety and heal her up. The other 2 characters are not yet injured. So I move Bellator next to one of his mates so that the additional one can target the other Tyranid and it runs. Here on Rare 4 we're using the same dynamic duo and bringing in Thaddeus as well because we can't use anyone who has a physical attack. With Burchard out front, the Tyranids do try and injure him, but his heavy armour means he's not taking much damage, and the same goes with Bellator. Burchard's frag grenade launcher makes short work of quite a number of these Tyranids, and Bellator summons in his friends. And of course, by using the AoE heal, make sure everyone's in tip-top condition for the final turn. Just a quick check to make sure everyone's on full health and finish the game. And here on Rare 5 we can't use the Mark 10 Gravis armour, so Burchard and Bellator have to stay at home. So here what I'm really doing is just setting up a bit of a protection around Isabella so that she can heal anyone who gets hit. Now if you don't have Creed and Yarrick, then Cut would be a good inclusion because of his AoE damage. And also Varro would be very good because of his active ability to deal a lot of damage to many places. Now I make a mistake here. I shouldn't have actually attacked with Creed first. I should have used Yarrick's ability and then followed up with Creed, because then the summons would move again. I move up with Isabella and I make another mistake, so I can't actually attack with her again, but by using my other characters I do free her up and manage to flame everyone around. Now thankfully the AI does go for the summons here first. And I now use Creed's ability to a much lesser effect. and finish it off with Isabella. So Epic 1 requires you to only use the sisters. Now, my Vindicta isn't that great, being only silver 1, so I actually retreat her back to use her later, sending Roz up with Isabella. Get Isabella doing some damage, Roz doing some damage, and again moving Vindicta to a safe position. They're targeting Roz, so Isabella can happily cure them up. And this is where Vindicta comes into her own, releasing that flame barrage, and finish off with Roz. The one thing I will need to say, I think I've got Vindicta's flame up to about 30 for this mission. Epic 2 means we can't use anyone with flying, so Bellator is not allowed here, nor is Celestine if you're lucky enough to have her. Quite why I've used Creed instead of Yarrick, I can't quite remember, but he manages to do the job quite nicely. And of course Ulf is great here because he really does a lot of damage. Now again we have got those tunnelling swarms which we need to take care of, and well, Burchard here is the perfect man for the job. And of course we're making sure that we can heal up Ulf to make sure he's fine. So all the tunnelling critters come up over with the summon, which I should have realised when I was playing this. And I go across and, well, release the storm, making sure I get that one straggler first. There goes the frag storm, killing one, and the other one flees. Epic Encounter 3 means we can't use any flame weapons. So again, I've got my favourite duo of Bellator and Burchard guarding the middle-ish with Isabella, and the summoners at the top, so their summons can protect them. And basically summon as much as possible because, as I've mentioned before, the AI loves those summons. And of course make sure that everyone is healed up before you start going into your last turn. And the final legendary encounter means we can't use any summons, which does make it a bit tricky to do and something I will need to iterate on to see if I can actually do this without taking any damage. This is the best I have been able to do. It wasn't terrible, but I think I can possibly do a bit better. And of course Burchard there with his AoE doing fantastic work. And Ulf going in, hitting whatever he can. I think for me, maybe I need to remove Thaddeus and replace him with someone else who isn't as squishy and maybe who can do a bit more damage, but I managed to heal him up here. But I need to take care of these swarms, and Thaddeus is normally a great option, but unfortunately I think my Thaddeus is only silver 2, so not quite got enough oomph here. And there you go. Please let me know if you managed to do any better. But missing only 4 points out of the whole of the quest, I'm pretty happy with that. As an additional gift for those who do watch this far, I have another raffle code for you, all the biomass. And this is the one that you enter via the Tacticus game website and not actually in-game. And if you or any of your guilds are looking for a new home, please feel free to reach out to any of the ones shown. The guild I am in, the Erdrakul of Eriok, we have actually got 2 spaces open at this point in time. So please, if you're interested in a top 100 guild, reach out and we'll see if we can find you a spot here. As always, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the battlefield.